Hello, I'm Rob Phillips, and welcome to my channel. When was the last time you let yourself be truly quiet? When was the last time you removed all of the inputs and just let yourself be? If you're like most people, it was probably a long time ago. And so for today, I'd like to give us a chance to practice in a more minimal way. I'm going to be talking less than usual. I'm not going to guide us in a super specific way. It's going to be much more about just being, experiencing the poses so that we can listen to the silence, so that we can hear what arises when we give ourselves that space. So in terms of props, I'm going to recommend that you have a blanket and a couple of blocks. As always, if you do enjoy the video, give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. And if you want to go deeper into the topics of yin yoga and meditation, consider my free course, the Embodied Mindfulness Method. I'll put a link down below. Otherwise, from here, let's find our way into a comfortable seat so that we can begin. Maybe in a cross leg, maybe in a kneeling. I do recommend maybe sitting up on top of your blanket. So get all of your stuff together here. You can close your eyes and either have your hands resting on the knees. They could also rest in your lap. Taking a moment to soften the shoulders, the neck, the upper back, all of that. So that here, with your eyes closed, we can begin to settle. Can begin to drop into the silence and space. Even though through most of the practice I will be quiet, I want to just kind of guide us in a little bit through this pose, through the first few poses. So just understand that when we unplug, when we become more quiet, the mind may feel a little more noisy at first. There may be a little bit more resistance or restlessness. We don't need to fight that. We don't need to push back against that. Instead, we can let ourselves simply be here. And let ourselves just land here precisely as we are. And it's a very simple tool to help us remain anchored through the silence. I'd encourage you to come back to feeling your breath, to feeling those movements that rise and fall. Just trust here, just know that in each moment that you are noticing the breath, that is a moment of presence. That is a moment of connection. So feel that here in your body, relax and settle into the stillness. And let's be quiet for just a final minute or so to help us land into this. From here, let's take a gentle inhale breath through our nose. And take a gentle exhale breath out our mouths. Lower down your chin, slowly open up your eyes. And from here, we'll be remaining in seated, but let's extend our legs out so they're nice and long, and maybe take a moment to relax and to shake out those legs. From here, as we often do, we're going to start in butterfly pose. And for today, I'm going to invite you to kind of find the version where the feet are a little bit closer in. So rather than having them like wider out, pull the feet in closer so you feel this release on the inner line of the thighs. Maybe sliding blocks under the knees if you need extra reinforcement. I'm going to grab my blocks here and use them as a support for my hands, just to kind of give myself some feedback. Take a gentle inhale to invite your length, and use your exhale to ease and to release yourself forwards. Now, again, in general, I'm going to be mostly quiet as we settle through these poses, but I do want to give my usual reminder as we do the physical practice that we never want to push the body into intensity. We never want to work at an edge that's unsafe or harmful. But we do want to come just deep enough into these poses to notice some effect, to know that some work is being done here. So find that threshold and just be mindful. Make sure there's no sharp, really focused sensations. In general, making sure you're not feeling much going on in the knees. So that as you find that safe alignment for yourself, you can relax, you can settle, and you can be in the pose. Connecting with this direct experience. Feeling what shows up. And so here, relax the body. Consider tuning into the breath as an anchor and notice the rise and fall. And let's see what happens as we listen to the silence, as we tune in to this direct experience right here and now. Take a final complete breath like you are here. Slowly begin to inhale and rise up and out of your fold. And as you come up, you can relax through the shoulders, through the neck, and through the back. To release our legs out in front, extend them, shake them out, do whatever feels good with that. And from here, we're going to take a brief pause on our belly. You can kind of clear everything out except for your blanket, which I might recommend that you just make kind of a cushion for yourself. We're going to be using this again in a minute or so. But then just pause. We want to give the body a brief resonance, a moment to bounce back. Tune in and feel that here. And again, just let this all be. See what remains as you truly let go, as you truly let yourself be quiet here. Let's take a gentle inhale breath through our nose. And a gentle exhale breath out our mouth. And slowly begin to press yourself up here. And the next shape we'll be setting up for is a pose called Anahata, or melting heart pose. So I do recommend having a blanket to pad the knees. For my body, I like to have blocks for this. You may or may not need them depending. So I'll show, the basics of how you can set that up. So basically you're going to start in a tabletop position, and then you're going to walk the hands forwards, releasing the hips back. And this will target into like the armpit, into the chest, into the shoulders. Now I know for my body, as I do this, my forehead very quickly kind of smushes into my mat. So I like to raise my hands up onto a couple of blocks just so I have more literal like breathing room to work with. This may work well for your body, but keep in mind that this is going to amplify the pose, so it may be a bit too intense for you. So feel this out. Remember my guideline here that we don't want to compromise the body in these poses. So this one especially can be a little sharp, a little intense if you go too far. So back in or out as you need to. Allow for the chest to melt towards the floor. There's a bit of a back bend. You might feel this in the spine. And as long as the level of intensity is reasonable, we can relax through that. We can settle and be quiet here to notice what shows up through this hold. Remember to keep the body safe, and remember to use the breath as an anchor that you can keep checking back in with. Take a final complete breath just like you are. Carefully back your way out of the pose. And I might recommend sitting in a child's pose. And what could feel nice could be to take your arms back by your side to really reset the shoulders. I'm not going to do that just so I don't smush my mic too badly, but that could be a nice way to reset the arms a bit. But really, you're going to want to find your neutral pose, wherever that is, and just take your few deep breaths. Feel the cycles, feel the waves of energy as they ebb and they flow. And you're going to tune into the resonance. You're going to feel the afterglow of this for a few more moments. Let's take a nice long inhale breath through our nose. A nice long exhale breath out our mouth. From here, you can pick yourself up for a moment. And we're going to set up into a wider kneed version of our child's pose. We're going to build a twist into this as well. So you can cross over the blanket a second time, make sure it's nice and thick. I always say when I teach this, you could certainly turn sideways on your mat if you want. Excuse me, if you want to use that for a bit more cushion. But either way here, you're going to come into that wider kneed version of the child's pose. And from here, set the thighs up so that they're a little wider. You can feel that release on the innermost line of the leg. Walk the arms forwards, feel as the hips sit back. Now, as I said, we're going to do a twist on this. So we're going to break this up. Each hold won't be like super long, but I want you to lift up and thread the left arm underneath first. Rest on that shoulder and that cheek. The right arm could stay in front or it could hook around your back. Just make sure, again, this feels reasonable. It's not too intense. You can breathe comfortably here. We'll settle and we'll be quiet. We'll let the pose do its thing for us. Take one more complete breath on this side. Slowly draw your way into the middle and just take a short pause. Feel that initial reset and that initial resonance. But then from here, pretty much straight away, we're going to take our right arm and thread that arm under. Rest on your cheek, on your shoulder. Again, ensuring that you can breathe comfortably here. Relaxing and being here for the next little bit. Resting in that deep sense of silence. Take a final complete breath, just like you are. Slowly begin to wind your way back out, passing through center, and extend your legs completely. And let's actually clear our props out. Come to find your way all the way onto your back. Spread out and take up some space. Feel the effects in the body and listen to the silence. Listen to the quiet here in this moment. Let's take a deep inhale breath through our nose. A big exhale breath out our mouth. Here on our back, we're going to come through a pair of simple twists. So walk your legs in. Maybe come into a little sway, a little shift back and forth. Draw your knees into the chest. Take a gentle inhale and slowly exhale to roll the legs over to the right. To open your left arm, that left shoulder out onto the floor. Again, like everything, make sure this feels nice. This feels reasonable for your body. You can use your extra props under the legs if you would like. Or otherwise, with the eyes closed, feel yourself settle. Feel yourself arrive here. Resting in this quiet, in this space we've made for ourselves today. Take a final complete breath here like you are. Slowly wind the legs back into the middle and take a few moments to shift and reset. And let's take just a little pause here in the center to let that all rebound, to let that all go. And as you're ready to, let's dial in our second side. So draw the knees into the chest. Take a gentle inhale breath here, and as you slowly exhale, roll the legs across to the left. Open your right arm out onto the floor again. Let it all unravel, let it all release. Resting and truly being quiet right here as you are. Take a final complete breath here like you are. Slowly begin to wind back into the middle. And take a moment to shift, to rebound, and to reset. And as we think about our final pose, I'd like to give you the choice. You could either end in a Shavasana where you spread out onto the floor, just take up some space. Or if you'd prefer, you could find your way back upright and end in a brief, quiet, seated meditation. And so if you're going to follow me there, just like we did in the beginning, really, make sure you have whatever props you need to be comfortable for a few minutes. If you're on your back, you can take up some space, really spread out, open onto the floor. In seated, hands could be on the thighs or on the lap. In either case, close your eyes. Set yourself up to be here, and whenever it naturally arrives, take a gentle inhale breath through your nose. Open up the mouth to exhale and just rest in quiet for these final couple of minutes here. So wherever you are, tuning back in, connecting, noticing what's settled through that time. And if you're already in seated, just remain there with your eyes closed. But if you're on your back, take a few moments, gently press yourself up. Join us here in a comfortable seat with the eyes closed, and let's all take a final moment to tune in. Notice just what you're feeling here. Notice just what your experience is, and be here for that. Join the hands in front of the heart. Again, and as always, my deep thanks to each of you for sharing your practice. It's truly an honor to teach. May our practice bring benefit to all beings. We bow. So again, thank you so very much for joining, and I'm curious how that went for you, especially if you're not used to practicing with such minimal input. Do let me know down in the comments below, and of course let me know there as well if you have any questions. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you are not already, and as I said in the beginning, if you want to go deeper into some of these topics on Yin Yoga and meditation, please consider downloading my free course, the Embodied Mindfulness Method, down below.